a lot of people come to me and say it doesn't make sense for silver to be a monetary collateral of any kind, right? Because why? Silver is too cheap. And I agree. Silver at $60 is too cheap to be a monetary collateral. But what if silver is at $200 US or $500 US? Does it make more sense at that point
Of
for
course.
silver? Exactly. And then there are people who tell me, well, like, what about the industrial players?
Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Well, I've got Eric Yeung again this morning. We spoke on Friday on the day that COMEX or CME froze for a few hours, and things are still really interesting. Silver at the time, Eric, was around 53, 54. Now we're around 58. Yeah, a lot is changing, and we're speaking on December 3rd, around 10 a.m. London time. Welcome back, Eric.
Thank you, Mario. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, this morning, I get up very early and I checked the silver market. It was doing well most of the overnight session, but then around 5:30 in London, it just dropped like a rock. And I dropped below 58 to like 57.50, I think. But now, as we speak, it's rebounded. So it's we're at 58.19. So it looks like people, the shorts are very desperate and they're trying anything, but it doesn't look like it will succeed. So, what's your opinion on things?
I think the problem right now that we're seeing is that my friend PM Buck on X have done some calculations on the global physical silver free float. And he did it like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So the number is probably a little bit lower now. But when he did it, the global physical silver free float was around 20,000 metric tons. So that amounts to at that point, I think it was around $50 per troy ounce for silver. So that amounts to around $36.8 billion in total. So somebody can come in with $36.8 billion and buy the entire world's worth of physical silver free float. Like, I mean, Mario, do you see a problem with that? I mean, that's a pretty small number, isn't it? $36.8 billion. Think
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, Berkshire Hathaway, they're holding almost 400 billion in cash. So it would be almost chump change for them.
Yeah. So after that, PM Buck did that or announced that number. 2 weeks went by, and then we had that issue with the COMEX last week on Friday, right? Where they, rumored to have put a blood plug because somebody big bought a bunch of silver. Supposedly 400 million troy ounces across multiple Western exchanges. And yesterday, I actually got more info. Somebody said that it was a Chinese industrial bullion dealer that placed the order amongst maybe one or multiple Western brokers for them to buy that metal on the Western exchanges. And then Bob Coleman came out. I don't know if you saw that video or interview of Bob Coleman. And
I didn't know. I
you
didn't
didn't,
know.
but he came out and said that Paul Tudor Jones bought a whole bunch on the COMEX, like six to 9,000 contracts, which is a significant amount. I mean, that's above the position size limit of 3,000 contracts per person. But like, of course, a guy like Paul Tudor Jones, he has ways of doing it, right, through proxies, etc.,
Yeah,
to be
he
able to get that much.
might use different brokers as well. And I guess coming from Bob Coleman, that's pretty legit information, I would say, even though I don't agree with everything he says sometimes.
Well, yeah, exactly, because he's the guy who says there's no manipulation. And this time he's basically saying that there is, right? That there has been and that is being broken right now. So anyway, Back to the free float. So now we are probably at around what 15,000 metric tons global free floats of physical silver after the whole fiasco. Maybe even down to 10,000 tons. I don't know. Because these numbers are not public. People like PM Buck and Bob the bullion guy, they just do the best they can to gather all the data and do the calculations, right? So let's say 10 to 15,000 metric tons globally. Now, I just said, $36.8 billion dollars at 20,000 metric tons. A couple billionaires can just buy all of it. Today, I see David Bateman. I don't know if you know this guy. He's a billionaire, right? Who's a silver stacker. He's saying that he's going to add more. So
Yeah,
so
I
it doesn't take
I
it
do
doesn't
know
take
him,
that. Yeah,
Eric,
Yeah.
and he follows me, and I follow him. And yeah, I think he was early this year. He bought loads of physical silver. He even had pictures of all his bars on X. Yeah, he's probably going to be buying more because, and I think Eric, what could happen as well is that we could see a failure of the ETFs because the ETFs. I'm not sure they're holding all the physical they say they're holding, and a lot of it is being drained.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like the problem right now, Mario, is that the physical free float is just dwindling at a rapid pace, like you said. And it doesn't take that many billionaires or like big entities to come in and buy up all the physical silver. So, like even China. Today, one of my followers in China, she's in the bullion business in the gold and silver jewelry manufacturing business. She sent me a video of her company buying 10 metric tons of physical silver. These are the 9999 purity 15 kilogram silver slabs from the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Okay. Silver slabs, big ones. So they bought 10 metric tons today
Yeah,
and they picked it up today. So, like, uh, we don't even need to get into the super nitty-gritty details, just from the information I've given you. They can play all the paper games they want. But every time when they slam the price of silver down a couple dollars, US dollars, the physical buying is just going to accelerate. So that's what I see here.
I agree. And as we saw earlier today, this is December 3rd, they tried that. I mean, I worked as a futures and options broker for 20 years, and I could tell you if a client gave me an order to sell something and I smacked the price down as much as whoever did that did, I would probably lose my job because, people usually want the best price possible when you're selling something and vice versa. But these price moves, they look like someone's desperate and they want the price lower. And I'll show that to you here. You probably saw it as well, but for the viewers, so silver is trading at 58, like almost almost up to 59, and then they just slammed it in a matter of, I put it in the minute chart. Where is it? Here. So this is what they did in about 10 minutes. They drove it down a dollar. I mean, that's either it was a junior broker, Eric, that doesn't know what he's doing, or she, or it was on purpose to drive the price lower. But as I've said, the price has recovered. I wanted to ask you as well, and I agree with you on this, that I think silver is the trade of a lifetime right now because we've broken through that teacup, the top of the teacup that's been forming for 45 years. And I don't think it's going to take another 20 years for silver to go up a lot because usually when you break a teacup like that, it's very bullish and you release a lot of pressure. So could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, first of all, like that's what the chart is called a cup and handle pattern, right? For
Yeah.
both gold and silver. Now, both gold and silver are in a cup and handle pattern. And interesting enough, yesterday I looked at my Red Notes account, and the Chinese are talking about that now. So before the Chinese weren't really talking about the cup and handle pattern, and now they're talking about it. And then on top of that, because that's only the chart side, right?
Yeah.
On top of the billionaires buying the silver, I noticed that people like goldbroker.com, like the news website about gold and silver, they broke the news that South Korea negotiated a $76 billion order for gold and silver at the Shanghai Gold Exchange. So think about that. That can potentially be 1,000 metric tons of silver. And as we all know, India has been buying thousands of tons of silver as well. And my good friend, Ronan Manny, I don't know if you know him,
Yeah, yeah, I
Mario.
do. I
Ronan?
do. I do follow
Yeah.
him, and he follows me. He's in Singapore, Bullion Star, isn't he? He works.
Correct. He's an associate with Bullion Star, but now he has a new venture going on. And he's working with a company that is launching what they call a tokenized silver product in Dubai. So think about that. That's humongous. Like I believe that he actually shared that photo with you of that 1,000, ton. Was it? I think it's
What
1,793 tons or something,
one
right? Oh, not
thousand
1,900, almost
one
2,000.
thousand nine hundred seventy-one? Because that was the year that Dubai became independent.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because that came on top of some news that I got a hold of that a lot of these Gulf countries, I'm talking about other than Saudi Arabia, are getting into silver as well. So potentially they are going to be buying, or they bought already, physical silver, as a potential collateral for future trade with the BRICS countries. So that, if you put the two new pieces of news together, it makes sense, right? That Ron and Manny is doing this
Yeah, and the
in
other
Dubai,
thing,
right?
yeah, the other thing as well is that India is pushing for the use of silver in the banking system from next year, and I think India and the Middle East they do a lot of business together. Dubai is a big gold center, and why not silver now? And I actually did an interview. Yesterday with someone, which I actually posted this morning. Uh, it's with Peter Carling, the guy who wrote A Pocketbook of Gold with Jim Sinclair. He doesn't, he seems to think what happened last week on COMEX was more to do with options, but that's beside the point. He's very bullish silver as well. He thinks fundamentally there's a lot of tightness in supply. And he actually thinks that. Hong Kong is going to be the new center. Is where China is going to like project its power in the bullion market. Yeah, I think you'll probably find that interesting.
Absolutely, Mario. I was just, across the street from the Hong Kong Gold Exchange today. I mean, physically, I was there because I told you, I have to visit my daughter, and she's around in that neighborhood in Shangwan in Hong Kong, where the Hong Kong Gold Exchange is. And I have been reporting to my followers that, I see certain Russian entities around that area. So you're correct. Like Hong Kong potentially will be a hub for, all these BRICS countries to trade physical gold and silver at, right? So you have Russia, you have India, you have, potentially some of these South American countries that are big silver producers, etc., all converging in Hong Kong.
Yeah, yeah. He says that the Hong Kong tradition of well, they have a different legal system. It's more internationally based, and that the world will trust that, and China's using that to its advantage, and I agree with him. So in terms of we see, of course, a lot of naysayers out there, the milkshake people. I think there's a guy, Peter Brandt, as well. Could you talk a little bit about that? And I think that's quite positive. It means that there's still a lot of people who are gonna try to denigrate silver.
Yeah, I mean, like I tell you this, Mario. A lot of people come to me and say it doesn't make sense for silver to be a monetary collateral of any kind, right? Because why? Silver is too cheap. And I agree. Silver at $60 is too cheap to be a monetary collateral. But what if silver is at $200 US or $500 US? Does it make more sense at that point?
Of
For
course.
silver, exactly. And then there are people who tell me, well, like, what about the industrial players? Guess what? They're talking to the right guy. They're talking to Eric Young. I used to manufacture stuff in China. So I have a lot of manufacturing friends who are in the high-end electronics manufacturing, high-end battery manufacturing, etc. I talk to them, and they come to me and they say that they are more worried about the availability of the physical silver rather than price at this point, or
I
even
see.
at $100 or $200, simply because the amount of silver that they use, in comparison to the overall, list of material
Yeah.
that they use to manufacture, is actually quite small. So let's say silver, quadruples to, I don't know, $300. Maybe their costs go up by a couple percent. That's it.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. I guess it's bad for Tiffany's and people like that. Yeah, and
Well,
Tiffany's
I
already rip off. I think it's a rip off their jewelry because with silver having been below $50 an ounce for so long, their jewelry is almost priced like it's gold.
I agree with you. Tiffany's is a major ripoff. I don't understand why they're so expensive. Like they're multiples of the spot price. But I just want to give you a contrarian point of view in terms of gold jewelry and gold utensils, like gold cups. I mean, sorry, silver jewelry and silver utensils, like
Yeah,
silver cups or chopsticks or whatever.
yeah,
Right? In China, in the past, when silver was cheap, there were actually less people buying silver jewelry and silver cups or plates or whatever, right? Now that silver is more expensive, there are actually more people buying silver cups and silver jewelry because people don't want to be seen as cheap. They
yeah.
want to be seen as like I mean, it's a status symbol, right?
That's
So
right.
if silver is at $500, I bet you, this is my prediction, okay? The silver jewelry business in China is probably going to quadruple
I
if
see.
silver get to $400 or $500. That's it.
Yeah, there's a name for that. Uh, a good that is demanded more as the price goes up, and I'm trying to look at that, and that's goes up. I think let's see, it's Veblen good, a Giffen good, yeah. It's a Giffen good. It is a necessary item with few substitutes that sees increased demand when its price rises because the price increases forces consumers to buy less of more expensive alternatives. Yeah, so yeah, it's like a Giffen good. I agree with you. And yeah, and very few people have any silver left, really. They've sold it all over the years, I would say.
I tell you, Mario, I got a friend in China. He's a rich guy. He got a set of silver teacups. I mean, he bought it a long time ago, right? When silver was at like 13, $14 per troy ounce, US dollars. And back then, like he didn't really use it to to entertain his guests, right? Because like again, silver was too cheap. It was like something they just put in the cupboard in the back, doesn't bring it out because like it doesn't show people that he's wealthy. Now, every time I see him, it's like silver front, right, and center. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know how it says, right?
yeah,
Chinese people is right there. Look at me. I got this beautiful silver tea set.
uh,
I'm a rich guy.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but we only at $60, right?
yeah,
If
yeah,
it's at like $400, I mean, this guy is just gonna put it in his living room
yeah,
24/7. I
yeah.
bet you. Yeah.
So, uh, I know there's a lot of talk, and I've said it that I back in the 70s, like from November 79, like towards the end of November, silver was $16, and by January 20th or 21st, 1980, it was at 50. So it tripled in a very short space. So I've speculated now that we've broken the teacup, cup and handle top. Why couldn't silver double by the beginning of the year, and that would be like 100? Is that the way you're looking at it? And do you think I think that's just the beginning, because we could go a lot higher as well.
I agree 100%, Mario. Like, I mean, I wrote something for my Chinese audience as well as my ex followers yesterday. I said that, the path from here, which is like, let's say around 57 US dollars per troy ounce for silver, to 100 is really driven by an industrial demand of silver. Not like this, I don't see a lot of speculation yet. I mean, people generally are pretty afraid because, as you said, we broke out the old high, right? So people are hesitant to, quotation marks, FOMO into silver, right? So like, what I see are industrial players really taking the lead and smart money, right? The billionaires like David Bateman, like Paul Tudor Jones, buying the physical silver or the silver contracts at the COMEX. So what I see is at $100 or more, potentially the medium-sized or smaller investment demand of silver comes in.
Yeah,
So in that sense, I agree with you. But like, I don't think it's the same as what we saw in 1979, 1980, because that was, as I understand, a lot of paper silver demand, whereas this time I think is really physically driven. Like there's a, year after year silver mining deficit of approximately 5,000 metric tons. And it takes years for a new silver mine or even a new base metal mine to go online because silver, in a lot of cases, are just a byproduct of copper mining, of other base metal mining. And my friend Jason on X have explained this many times.
yeah, it's not a primary. There's
Yeah.
not too many primary silver producers. And Eric, as we wrap up here as well, I guess you're also heavily involved in the silver miners. I think they're going to do even better, of course, than the metal, and even better than the gold miners. I have weighted my portfolio of miners more towards silver now. Is that how you're doing it too?
Well, Mario, I'm always well balanced with my portfolio. So I still own a lot of gold miners, but I own a lot of silver miners like Avino,
Yeah.
like CDE, like First Majestics, like Fortuna Silver Mines. So I own a lot of them.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, yeah, sorry.
yeah, no. That's great of you to
Yeah.
tell us what you own, and we've been doing quite well with the Vino. I mean, I sold it earlier, but I got back in it, and so I got quite a bit of a Vino. And just to let the viewers know, this is not like advice. This is what we're doing. Eric, any final words for the viewers that you think is important in this really I think it's historic. I mean, we could see the I would say silver's been manipulated since 1873, and now it's like breaking out. It's a new world.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Mario. I think this is potentially a opportunity of a generation for a lot of people. I mean, like, it's not every day that we see, a monetary shift of this magnitude. That is converging at the same time with a systemic shortage, may I dare say, of a critical mineral such as physical silver. So I always tell my viewers and my followers, if they do not own any gold and silver, it's never too late to start to buy some. If they are afraid of the quotation marks high prices of gold and silver, they can always dollar cost average. So buy once a week or once a month to capture the best average price, over time. But like at this point, because like you said, Mario, we're in a cup and handle formation, and the prices may actually shoot up quite quickly. I say if people do not own any gold and silver, just go ahead, buy maybe half of what they want to buy right now. That might be a good bet.
Well, that's great, Eric. It's always nice to speak with you. I think we're going to be speaking quite a lot more these days. Hopefully, yeah, you will come back on the channel. I always enjoy speaking with you, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you, Mario. Likewise.